So here it is, you guys. My update to my WP100 build. Yeah, I know that's upside down. I'm gonna fix it. But actually, yeah, I have lots of complaints about this case, and I'm gonna start going from the top to the bottom. So here it is. With the top part, the bracket actually mounts directly in the middle. There's no other placement for it. That's the only place you could put that bracket. My issue with it is this is a Thermaltake radiator. This is actually the radiator they advertise with it. The fitting to the far back actually is so close to the motherboard that you have to directly make the bend right outside the fitting because it actually touches. So if you were to come down here, which I had a piece earlier, it actually touches the motherboard. You can't go anywhere farther than here because this is so far back unless you had a thinner radiator. But this is what Thermaltake offers, is a thick 64mm radiator, which is kind of super disappointing. So moving down, here's my 360 rad. This is a Hardware Labs. It's a thinner one. The placement for the front bracket is kind of skewed. It actually doesn't line up perfectly, but you can get it to work. My biggest issues are actually with the pedestal of the Thermaltake WP100, or the P100, sorry. So, starting with the bottom, this is actually the pump. It's a D5 pump, Thermaltake branded res pump combo. This is actually what they advertise with it. And they actually advertise it mounted like this. My biggest problem is this is actually what the bottom looks like up here without the bottom plate that I put in there. They're fan grills. You can't mount anything to it. You cannot mount anything to the fan grills. So for them to advertise that and not offer an alternative bottom bracket or bottom piece is kind of ridiculous for the price you pay for it. So moving on from that, this is my biggest issue, and it's actually costing me more money because I have to return this brand new it's a 480 rad, same as the top one, 64mm thick radiator. And in the book, and all the crap that Thermaltake puts out, you're able to put a 480 rad up to a 560 rad down here, perfectly to fit down in the pedestal. That's why you buy the pedestal. It's a basement, but not with a power supply. This is where I'm fucking pissed off about. Is even though I took off the two fans back here, it still does not fit. So I even did an experiment with it. I took off this front radiator. It's thin. I actually had to take these two fans off for it to fit down here. And even then, it's pushed up against the power supply, so there's no airflow. There's no point of having a 480 or a 560 down here with a power supply. And then I already know what the response is. Well, why don't you put it up here? Why the fuck would you buy a goddamn basement if you're gonna put your power supply up here? No one does that. Their problem is they put the fucking power supply in the middle of the pedestal. So no matter which side you put it on, there's no more room than this side or the other. So this is my biggest issue. You pay $129 for this pedestal, or at the time I bought it a week ago, and you can't even fit their branded radiators down here without having any issues. And don't get me wrong, I am a big Thermaltake fan. Anytime people ask for a case, I said Thermaltake. I got a Core X9 here, I got a Thermaltake X71, and before my Core X9, I had a GTS level 10 Thermaltake case. Great cases. Now that I went ahead and bought their most expensive case, I am seriously disappointed by it. And unfortunately, I can't return it because it's actually the whole thing shipped is 75 pounds. So even if I wanted to return it, it cost me more to return this thing. I like it. It's a good construction, but for the trouble and the crap that you deal with the pedestal is not worth it. And here's another, this is my biggest fucking issue with this. You pay $120 for this. So here is the Corsair 1200i. And those are the rubber grommets provided. They don't touch the power supply. So right now, the only thing supporting the power supply are those 4 screws. What the hell, Thermaltake? I've been such a fucking big fan of Thermaltake, and this case has seriously made me rethink it. And this is their most expensive case, other than the WP100 that's coming out. Why? And don't get me wrong, it's a great case, but I'm running into more issues than I ever had with any other case. So that's where I'm at with this case. I'm super frustrated with Thermaltake. So, in my honest opinion, with the WP100 case, save up another $300 and get the real Case Labs case. I don't care what Thermaltake says. This is exactly like a Case Labs case, just a poorly ripped off one. I'm going to have to live with it, so I'm going to make the best of it. And I ended up buying a new rad. It's a thinner radiator. I bought a 560 rad. What was it? 560 millimeter thin rad with 4 new fans. So it's costing me more money to upgrade because, well, fuck it. You're not going to go and build an extreme water cooling system and make it look like dog crap. So, well, that's where I'm at. I will update with you guys with more video. Unfortunately, I won't be able to finish it this week or the week after. I am going to be gone, so maybe I'll have new video cards before I even fucking finish this thing. Oh well, I guess. Hope you guys have a good one.